What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. I don't know if you can hear. You can't hear the rain, but we're in Bologna. Me and my wife are in Bologna. It's a beautiful rainy day. It's not as cold as usual, and we just went and had great breakfast, really good breakfast. But I want to talk about how technology can be used in the wrong ways and in the right ways. So when it comes to a virtual medical practice or even a physical medical practice, you can use technology to make it a lot smoother for the patient. Remember, technology should rarely be for you. The technology should be for the patient. The patient experience has to be really good. They have to love coming to your clinic. They have to tell other people that, oh my God, Dr. Mo's medical practice, it is so streamlined, it works so smoothly. And they shouldn't be saying like, because it integrates really well with my watch and phone, and like then I can download and I can scan this QR code. If they're saying that, they're probably initially impressed with all the things, all the new technology that you have, but very quickly, all of those tasks become burdensome. So let's talk about how we can make good use of technology. So what's up, guys? My name is Mohammed Ashori, MD. I'm a family medicine physician here in the US, but here is Italy right now. So I'm a digital nomad physician. I travel all over and I run my medical practice from this little computer screen, my Chromebook and my little portable keyboard and portable mouse. I take it everywhere. I do my setup, I do my videos, I do my social media stuff to get you guys passionate about medicine once again, and to tell you guys that there's another way to practice medicine. It doesn't have to be the traditional insurance-based, and we don't have to follow all the rules that are meant to make commercial interests wealthier. There's a better way to practice medicine, and I think for many of us, having our own medical practice might be the key, but there's also many other ways. So here we go. This morning when I went for breakfast with my wife, I say girlfriend and wife because we're married in one country and girlfriend in another country, so bear with me on that one. We had coupons for 50% off. So we go and we check out the menu, and they have a brunch menu, and the brunch is set. And then there's also a la carte that you can order stuff. And the a la carte, if you added it up, it actually came pretty close to the brunch menu price. So that already didn't make a lot of sense. And so as consumers, we were quite confused about the pricing. That's one. Two, we had a QR code on our 50% off, which we got when we went there for a different event. And so then we went up there and said, oh, here's the coupon, here's the QR code. I don't know why we have a QR code, right? So we gave it to her and she's like, oh, you have to scan this QR code and then you have to register. So then we go sit back at our table. The space was cute, but kind of cold, as in like the temperature was cold. It wasn't like warmed up yet for a cafe in the morning. So we scanned the QR code. That takes us to a place where we have to register and input our information. This is 2024. People do not want to give you your information. People are very hesitant to give their email, their phone number, and everything else to you. Now, I use something called MySudo, S-U-D-O. So anytime I use an email and phone number, it's a very let's call it a very bogus email and phone number, but still it's a pain in the arse. So we scanned it, then we registered, then we put the information in, then we had to go back into our email and retrieve another QR code, which then sent us to their website to actually reserve 2 spots for that day, even though the cafe was completely empty, reserve a table for that day. This is today. And then, so we order everything, and we say, she's like, oh, it also includes a dessert for brunch. So then we're like, no, we're good. We don't want it. It's like, oh, but it comes with it, and it might become more expensive. It just became so complicated. We're like, oh, we'll take the dessert. We'll take the dessert. And then at the end, we went to pay, and she's like, oh, I need those QR codes. So I had to go look through my phone, and she's scanning the QR code. She didn't even scan my wife's QR code. She only scanned my QR code. Let's just say this was not the best way to use the QR code, right? The best way to do this is you say, oh, you got the QR code, wonderful. At the end of the meal, we'll settle everything. The person then comes and scans the QR code, and then gives you the discount, which was a 50% discount, which is kind of hefty, and you're on your way. Now, there are a couple of good medical practices in Los Angeles that I've noticed that use the QR code beautifully. The patient walks in to the clinic, they scan the QR code, they enter all their information, their insurance information, their, what they're here for, and then the person at the front desk can even just call them up and say, hey, you're all checked in, there's nothing else you need. Or the QR code itself can even tell them like, hey, you're good to go. You can literally just wait until the doctor comes and gets you, or until the nurse comes and puts you in the room. That's a beautiful way to use a QR code. If you're going to do handoffs between one software to another, so for example, you have an electronic health record, you might have a billing software, you have a scheduling software, and you have a communication software where you're sending text messages to the patient. If you're going to do this handoff, which is a nightmare, you need to connect these very seamlessly. For the patient to go and then check their email and then get the link and then click back on it and then refuse your cookies and all of that stuff, it's going to really distance the patient from you. One way to shortcut that is to forget the old check-in process. Why are so many doctors still using the old check-in process as if it's like a law or something you have to do? There's no law. When the patient first comes to your clinic and there's literally nobody waiting, and then they're sitting there going, well, I guess I gotta do this stuff. I don't know why I can't do this in the room. Take the patient back. See the patient. You don't need vitals, right? So especially in a cash-based world, guys, forget the old model of how things are done. When the patient walks in to the waiting room, they can continue walking and sit right in front of your desk where I'm sitting here and the patient's sitting across from me. Hi, what's your name? Miss Smith. Wonderful. Nice to meet you. What can I do for you? They're going to be like, I didn't check in. I didn't make a payment. I didn't give my ID. You don't have to do any of that. So you can have the conversation. You do the visit. They don't need to disrobe. They don't need to be on the physical exam table. If they're dying and if you're running a high-risk urgent care, sure, you can do an initial triage, absolutely. But why are you getting the wait for medication refill? You have to think about these things. This is what the modern patient is looking for these days. If you're doing a psych evaluation and you're having a patient fill out HIPAA and PHI and legal agreements and all that stuff ahead of time, how connected do you think that person will be when you first open your mouth and say, Miss Smith, tell me what's going on? They're like, fuck me, right? So reverse the process. Start by connecting with the patient. Start by connecting with this human being that came to you and trusts you. And then at the end say, hey, there's a few documents that I'm going to send you to complete. If you could please do those. You could send it to them and they can complete it at their when it's convenient for them. At the end of the visit, you can do it. If you can do a verbal agreement, most states allow a verbal agreement. So you say, hey, there's a protected health form that we usually sign with our patient. There is this that we usually sign with our patients. Here's a quick link. You scan the QR code, go through them. You can do it right in front of me. You can say yes and no to them. Here's a paper form of it if you want to look through it, as long as you're okay with this document. We can just continue with the visit. Think about every one of these steps. Now, I'm simplifying it, I know. But you can think through every one of these steps that somebody has to go through and see how you can make it easier. And this also relates to your website. If somebody lands on your website and they don't have 3 or 4 options to immediately connect with you, they will bounce, and that's called your bounce rate. So on your website, there should be a way to book a call. If you offer a free introductory session, which I used to do, I don't do it anymore. In the beginning, so I really wanted to kind of solidify my workflow. If you offer a free option for people, make sure that's front and center. Book this free call with me right now. And then hopefully the next button is like all your availabilities that day, and it should be highlighted. Like, this is the availability today. I can connect with you today. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Leave some comments below. Tell me what negative experiences you've had, maybe when you've gone to a medical clinic or to a cafe. Share with me your stories, and hopefully we can learn together and make the patient experience a lot better.